Alright, hey guys, I'm here with,
Lena Belstra.
and yeah, let's get it. So, which piece of mass media would you say has had the biggest influence on your perception of either race, gender, or class?
Um, I guess in the context of like right now, I would say like literature, novels. Um, it's kind of the nature of like the classes I'm taking. As an English major, we've done a lot of studies, um, like specifically about class and gender in the context of literature, which is actually very interesting. It's a very niche focus, but it's pretty cool to see how authors portray different things and like how bias comes up, whether it's like inherent or not. So yeah, I would say literature.
What kind of biases have you noticed?
Um, I guess specifically with class and gender, like a lot of like mass media itself is often portrayed in a feminine light. So a lot of a lot of mass culture literature or like mass produced literature is very feminized, from a how do I put this, but like the great authors, you know. And you think of, when you think of literature, you think of, like the Great Gatsby, Jane Eyre, you think of Charles Dickens, like the classics.
Yeah.
And when you think of mass media, you think, of like fantasy series and, those series that have big fan bases, and a lot of those novels are often feminized because of just kind of like internalized biases towards like gender roles and kind of thing. It's kind of hard to verbalize out loud, but definitely gender comes across in a lot of that.
So through basically like the author's perspective and the way that they're writing is what you're saying?
Yeah, kind of, and kind of just like the perception of the consumption of media as well. Sometimes too. Like I said, it's kind of hard for me to verbalize. I don't know, like I'm usually writing about this stuff, but
yeah. So when it comes to these different perspectives and biases from these authors, would you say that's a good thing or a bad thing? Because one could see it from, oh, we're getting different perspectives from these different backgrounds, but another could see it as, oh, they're putting too much personal bias into their work.
A lot of it is kind of neutral, honestly. I mean, sometimes it's pretty overt, like you'll take apart a piece of literature and you'll, in the middle of your analysis, just be like, oh my gosh, this dude's like not a great guy.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's more of just like it's it's not an implicit bias. It's just something that you're picking it apart and you're like, oh, this is interesting, because the author maybe wasn't intending to do this, but it happened anyway. So it kind of goes both ways, but it's very interesting.
Yeah. And how would you say this has like affected the way that you interact with other people?
I mean, definitely, like from class, learning how to pick apart literature and identify different, biases and whatnot. I mean, it does really translate into a social aspect as well, kind of taking a step back and removing yourself from a situation that you're in and kind of looking at it, like from a bird's eye view kind of, and just being like, okay, hey, like what's going on here? Like how am I presenting myself? And, how am I coming across? How is what I'm saying being interpreted potentially by the other person? And how, like, me personally, how am I interpreting the other person? And am I maybe getting something wrong because of my own perspectives?
So it kind of makes you hyper think about your own biases?
Kind of, yeah. It kind of puts things into perspective.
Oh, yeah. I'd say that could be seen as a good thing, too. I mean, being aware of your own biases is definitely something I think we should all strive to do more often. And just to be aware of the fact that it actually impacts our actions with other people, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah. Well, thank you for your insight, for your answers, and yeah. See you guys, I guess.